I had the honor to be invited by NASA to go experience a rocket get launched into space.
Oh my god, that's so bright!
And the crazy part is that I almost missed it. If you don't know who I am, my name is Massimo and I'm a visual artist. And not only do I create my own art, but I've worked closely with many renowned artists in order to document their creations. Now you may think, what does art have to do with NASA? And to that, I'm going to tell you that during my time there, I experienced and captured so much, and it's going to inspire me to create some pieces. And if you don't know the type of pieces I make, as of recently, I've been making a lot of these point cloud animations, and I just think it's a beautiful way to visualize the world. I'm not going to make this video about the point clouds, so if you want to learn more about that, I'll have it linked below. I pretty much discovered this event by accident when doom scrolling on Instagram. And I don't remember exactly if NASA posted a story or if it was something in feed, but pretty much it was a post by NASA inviting people to PACE Social. And this particular NASA Social was centered around the PACE satellite being launched into space. PACE stands for Plankton, Aerosol, Cloud, and Ocean Ecosystem, and that's what this satellite is exactly going to monitor, which is essential for us to monitor our ever-changing environment. The fact that NASA was inviting people, honestly, this opportunity felt too good to be true. But it was one of those things where you're sure that it has very high demand and a lot of people are applying for it, but you just apply anyway just to see if you're lucky. After I applied on NASA's website, I pretty much forgot about it for a couple of days. And then to my surprise, I couldn't believe it, but I got an email from someone from NASA that I've been accepted. Immediately after that, I started planning the trip, calling off of work, booking a flight, getting a hotel, and scheduling a car rental. And I'll be real with you, flying does make me uncomfortable, and this was my first solo trip completely on my own, so this definitely took me out of my comfort zone, and I'm very glad I did it. After my surprisingly quick flight of only 2 hours from Newark to Orlando, I made it at the airport. Unfortunately, I had problems with my car rental. Apparently, the place was already closed by the time I landed, so I had to bite the bullet and purchase a rental at the airport, which costs 3 times as much. But hey, I'm pretty new to traveling, so for me, this is all just a learning experience. A pretty costly one, but oh well. From there, I got pretty restless as it was starting to get late and I needed to head to the hotel pretty quick as I had to wake up super early in the morning for the first day of the NASA social activities. So I picked up the car at the airport and I was pretty fortunate that the guy that helped me out there upgraded my car for free. So instead of driving a Toyota Camry around, I drove a pretty nice Volkswagen around and that was pretty cool. I made it to the hotel pretty late, around 1 a.m. and then from there, I couldn't even fall asleep, so I probably just had 3 hours of sleep and headed to the first day of NASA's social. Each day started off at the Press Accreditation Building, and from there we picked up 2 IDs. Here's a NASA social ID that they gave everyone out, as well as a second ID that I can't show on camera, but pretty much it was a small laminated card that said SpaceX on it and PACE launch visitor or something like that. And those cards can't be shown because they were government property, so NASA just wanted to keep everything secure. Once I arrived to the group, to my surprise, it was a much smaller group than I expected. On NASA's website, they said that 50 people were to be selected, but it ended up being around only 15 people. And to me, this wasn't a bad thing because it gave me the chance to know everyone in the group even better. Also, at the beginning of each day, there was an armed security guard with a dog that would take all our bags in a row and sniff them out. Let me tell you, NASA doesn't play games. They're a government agency, so they just need to keep everything safe. Out of the group of people, I would say half were space enthusiasts and the other half were digital content creators. And that was one of the prerequisites that NASA had, that they were looking for people to post content online related to the NASA launch. And they were specifically looking for people that had a lot of reach on their social media. Unfortunately, my social media has grown quite considerably in the last year or so, so that probably did help me out in getting selected. I really loved the group, and it was crazy because even Miss USA was there. But anyways, back to talking about the actual activities that were taking place in this NASA social. We had the opportunity to have a couple of panels and Q&As from NASA employees. So there were plenty of opportunities to network and ask specific questions. One of those events was the NASA Social Live, and during that, it was a live event where people from NASA were talking about the specifics of the PACE mission. And I was actually there with the group when they recorded that video, and you could check it out. I'll have it linked below. Now, there were a few specific locations that we toured that I just have to talk about. One of the places we visited was NASA's first launch site, so that place was very historic, and the building had equipment still there.
And then launch director would sit here, and when the countdown reached 0, would flip those 2 switches up and release. So go ahead and do it. And release.
And release?
Yep, there it goes. There's our launch.
Now, the place I just mentioned was available to tourists, but we also had exclusive tours to places that typically aren't available for the public to enter. And to me, the most impressive building in an entire Kennedy Space Center complex was the VAB. And VAB stands for the Vehicle Assembly Building. It was this massive building, and honestly, whatever footage I put up on the screen right now doesn't do justice on how huge it was. Inside that building, they do the final assembly of the rockets and other NASA equipment in order to prepare them and launch them into space. So if you have to think about it, if you have to fit a giant rocket in that building, then that building needs to be massive. They even had the space shuttle in that building. Honestly, we didn't have too much time in that building, and I definitely took advantage of it because everyone had their cameras out and they were recording, so it was perfectly legal to do so. So what I did is I was walking around with a 360 camera in order to do some photogrammetry with it. And I don't want to get too technical, but the people in the 3D community say that 360 cameras aren't too great for photogrammetry, but one benefit to using them that I don't see people talking about is how quickly you can scan stuff with them. So pretty much with 2 minutes of video, I got a reconstruction of the VAB, and I'm going to use that for some point cloud creations. Then we also visited Hangar AE, which you can think as the control center for launching the rocket. Inside the building, the setup was absolutely mind-boggling. There were just rooms filled with computers and massive displays in order to monitor all the controls for the rockets. The tour we got was super exclusive, and honestly, I'm surprised that NASA even does these type of tours. Because some parts of the tour were so mission sensitive that we weren't even allowed to take our cameras out. But in the rooms where I could use my camera, I captured as much as I could, and I hope to make some cool stuff out of that as well. Pretty much what NASA didn't want us to record was on the screens, there was this live feed of the International Space Station, and for the privacy of the astronauts, they didn't want that to be recorded. And then there was another room that had mission sensitive information of the rocket up close, and they don't want people sharing that around. We had this shuttle bus from NASA driving us around the different locations at Kennedy Space Center, and one of the coolest locations that we stopped by was the actual rocket launch site. Now obviously we wouldn't be there for the actual launch because it's dangerous to do so. No one is allowed up close by the rocket, but we got a quick chance to see the rocket in all its glory. It was a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, and if you looked all the way at the top, you could see the payload, and that's where the PACE satellite rested until its launch. After all the NASA activities, I said farewell to the group until the actual launch. Now remember how I said I almost didn't get to see it? Pretty much the launch got canceled. When we were there in Orlando, it was super windy, and the people in control of the launch didn't want to take any risks, so they pushed it to tomorrow. And then tomorrow rolled about, and it was canceled as well. I started to become devastated because I planned this whole trip, and I was starting to think, what if I don't see this launch? I got so excited for this trip, and the most exciting part I wasn't going to see. Because the launch got canceled twice, a lot of people already left. So it was just me and half of the group still left in Florida. So after the 2 days of cancellations, thankfully on the third day, it seemed that we were clear for launch. And I didn't have anything scheduled that day, so I did the thing that I normally do and just check out some art places in the area. So the Kennedy Space Center was in Cape Canaveral, which is about an hour away from Orlando. So after an hour drive, I checked out the art museum at UCF as well as the Snap Gallery in Orlando. And also because I was in Orlando, I just had to check out a resort. Out of all the fancy water parks and resorts, I just wanted to have just a little taste of that. So what I did is I secured a day pass and I headed to a hotel to chill in the lazy river for a little bit. So yeah, I don't have a room, but I can do whatever I want in the resort. And there's a couple of things to do here before the launch. I got like maybe like 3 or 4 hours, so I'm gonna chill here for maybe 30 minutes and then see what else I can do. Oh, water's coming. After the lazy river, I got some dinner at the hotel, hit the gym, and then I had to rush back to the hotel in order to make it to the launch on time. At the hotel, I was prepping all my camera gear and I was ready and I headed out. And after that, the wait was finally over. I got to watch the launch in person. Alright, so it's T minus 20 something minutes until launch. Now it's T minus 18 minutes until launch. So we got everyone from the NASA social back there. I don't think you'd be able to see because it's quite dark back there. But the rocket where the light's blinking, not that one, but over there is where the rocket is. Everyone got their stuff set up over here, and the rocket is right there. And that's press right there as well. Let's see, everyone's set up. 3 cameras. Photo lens. See that setup? Nice. Just showing off your setup.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you got the live too.
I went to sleep, yeah, but there's the shot right there.
Oh, take a look at that. Nice.
Yeah.
You got another camera there. I like the little like formation over here with the clouds. Yeah, and then here's my setup. On this trip, I brought a film camera and my digital. And I'm gonna use that telephoto for the launch. And I also got a GoPro I'm gonna set up and just hook it up somewhere.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition.
Oh my god, that's so bright.
Full power engines and liftoff of the Falcon 9 and pace, helping keep pace with our ever-changing ocean and atmosphere.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
All 9 roll engines lit up and roaring. 1.7 million pounds of thrust.
Nico. Stage separation confirmed.
There it goes, the first stage of the rocket. Second stage now lighting
Back
up.
ignition.
Stage 1 boost-back startup.
You see the glow of the first stage as it falls away.
Excited to see that first stage come back here to landing zone 1 this morning. That will be great as stage 2 continues to perform. Getting that stage back here will be exciting.
A look from the ground. Here she comes.
Oh, it's in the clouds. Oh, shoot. Wow, look at that color.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Another pinpoint landing.
Sonic boom.
The hope is once they get those solar arrays deployed, a critical moment, they're going to be looking to get power on it. There goes Pace.
Payload separation confirmed.
Off into space on its own, flying free.
So that was a wrap of the NASA social. I had 4 cameras recording the launch, and about 2 of them I didn't hit record at the right time, and some other camera had a problem with. But oh my god, I mean, I think I did at least get something, so I'm gonna include that in the video. And yeah, holy crap, that was insane. So yeah, whew. It was truly a breathtaking experience. Because of how excited I was for the launch, Unfortunately, the footage that I captured, I didn't get everything that I wanted, but that's absolutely fine. I still got to experience it, and it was also a learning lesson for me. I am so grateful for NASA to invite me to this experience, and if you want to experience your own NASA social, here's how to do it. If you simply Google NASA social and hit the first result, all the information is right there. And what you also want to do is you want to follow NASA on social media and wait until they make an announcement for their next NASA social. And NASA does a couple of socials every year, so if you're fortunate enough, you could probably experience one for yourself very soon. I wanted to give a shout out to everyone at the NASA social as well. In the group was people all over the United States, and I hope to cross paths with them again soon. If you want to see my creations inspired from my trip there, I haven't released them yet, but be sure to check me out on other platforms so you can see them as they're made. And if you haven't subscribed to me on YouTube already, especially if you're an artist, then you should definitely consider that. If you made it to the end of this video, I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you in the next video.